Friedensreich Hundertwasser.
Friedensreich Hundertwasser.
Friedensreich Hundertwasser.
Friedensreich Hundertwasser.
Friedensreich Hundertwasser.
Friedensreich Hundertwasser. Hey. So we are going to learn about an artist today that's name is Friedensreich Hundertwasser. Now, I don't know about you, but I have to practice that name every time I say it. I learned about this artist several years ago, and then I have taught about this artist for a number of years. And I honestly still have to listen to how to say his name. Friedensreich Hundertwasser. Hundertwasser? Like a hunting advisor? No, not a hunting advisor. An Austrian artist. Hundertwasser. Man, that sure makes Swasina look easy. It's like practically like Smith or Jones. Swasina. Anyways, we're learning about Hundertwasser. And Hundertwasser, as I said, was an Austrian artist. And he liked bold, bright colors and organic lines. Now, you and I, we had discussed what organic lines are versus non-organic lines. Organic lines are going to be things that you would find more in nature, like not exactly straight, but they might be more, twisty and turny because it makes up the outside of a leaf or the veins of a leaf or something else. So Hundertwasser, he liked more organic lines rather than what they would call geometric lines, like the lines that you would see in like math class or just, straight lines. So anyways, he liked to use bright colors, and he became one of the world's most famous contemporary painters. He is so incredible. So today I want to make artwork in his style. He made this artwork that had a lot of like twists and turns and fun little designs to it. But he was also well known for this artwork that's called Lollypop trees, or some people call them that. I don't know if Friedensreich Hundertwasser ever called them that, but that's what I tend to call them. So today I'm going to show you how to draw some of his lollipop trees, and they're pretty simple, so you get to color them and make them look bright and fun, and I hope you have a lot of fun doing it. And later you can listen to YouTube and practice his name, Friedensreich Hundertwasser. And it's not a hunting advisor, he's Hundertwasser. So give it a try, give it a whirl, and see what you come up with. Maybe even videotape yourself saying it and send it to me. I can't wait to hear you. Oh.
For this project, you will need paper, markers, and pencil. I will give you 3 different ways to make this project. First way is to use your pencil and trace a couple circles to make the lollipop trees. So you can use anything, like I'm using a little mouthwash cup here, a stamp pad, and a roll of tape. You can use anything round that you would like, or you do not have to trace anything. Later I will freehand the circles. So you first just draw the circles to make your lollipop trees, then you add stems or the trunks of the trees. So I said stems because some people will make these into flowers. And then you can add the wavy lines in the background to add some visual interest and to make it feel a little bit more like a Hundertwasser's fun, whimsical design. And then the last thing that you would add is like the little coil in the center of the tree to make it look kind of like a lollipop tree. So at this point then, you would go about coloring this with your markers and keeping it fun and bright. But some people may think, well, why do I even need to draw it out in pencil? And that's an absolutely great question. And so you may, if you would like, just go ahead and start with your markers, and I will show you that now. So you can just take your markers and you can draw your circles for your lollipop trees. And like I told you, I freehanded at this point, so I am not using a circle template to trace. So that's an option as well. Just make sure you keep it nice and neat and not looking sloppy. And then you can draw your wavy lines for the background and start filling those in. And once you finish filling in the background, then you can add the branches or stems to the trees or flowers, whatever you choose to make those into. Now, that's another fun way to complete this project, but it's still really simplistic. And hey, if you are feeling like, I want to create a nice looking piece of artwork, but I don't want it to be overly involved, then this is a great option. But if you are somebody who really is looking to take your art to the next step, I thought I would challenge you today with trying to make your artwork look like that of Hundertwassers. And so I'm going to, using markers, try to recreate Hundertwassers artwork today, and you can follow along with that and just see if you're able to, or see how it goes and have a little bit more of a challenge. So that is the next thing I will show you. So we are just finishing up the Hundertwasser inspired, more simplistic version. But if you're looking for a challenge, try to follow along in this next version. This is the original version of the painting. It was done in oil, and it is called Blobs Grow in Beloved Gardens that Hundertwasser would have created in 1975. So it's one of my favorites by Hundertwasser, and it is one that I'm going to try to recreate here today. The first thing that I am going to do is I am going to draw the circles of the blobs that grow in the gardens. There altogether are 6 different circles that grow. And next I will add the tree trunks or the stems of these different circles. Next, there's like this rim or edge that goes around the outside, so I'm adding that in. It's kind of rough too. And then a zigzag line across the bottom. I have no idea what this zigzag line is, but I always imagined that it was a fence, or like the top of a fence being drawn. Now we're ready for coloring. And I'm going to color in large block spaces, and then I'll go over top of some of these spaces with other colors later. So first I'm using yellow all around the outside edge there. I know this is not a traditional way to use your markers. First color in large block spaces and then go over it with different colors, but I've thought about these colors and they should work fine doing it like this. And it'll make it a lot easier in the end to recreate this painting with markers, because typically we do not try to recreate paintings with markers, but I'm just trying to think of different art supplies that you might have available to you to use, and markers is usually something that a lot of people have. Next, I'm going into the background there with a bright pink, or whatever color pink you might have you can use in coloring the background with the pink. And now that we're finished with the pink, we're going to use blue on the jagged zigzag line and then color that in with blue. Now that we're finishing up with blue, I'm going to use green on the circles. As we're finishing up with the green on the last circle, we're going to take that same green and start doing some kind of diagonal lines starting in the left upper corner, and want to make those thick in some places as well. bringing them down just on the yellow part, not through the pink part. And we do that the whole way across the top, and we will finish up on the other yellow section on the right hand side. Once we finish with our green, we're going to grab red. We're going to put in some red horizontal lines in the pink section. We will put our red back for a little bit, and then the next color that we are going to grab is a different color of pink. So if you don't have a different color of pink, just take the pink you were using and go back over this lower part here, because Hundertwasser in his original painting had what looks like or appears like two different colors of pink here, which one is very close to the red, and that is what I'm putting in now. I'm next going to grab a darker blue and go over the edges of the blue. If you don't have a darker blue, you could just use black to do this. I happen to have this really awesome marker set from Crayola that has like 2 packs, one's bold and bright and one's the classics. So if you don't have 2 different blues, you can just use a black to do this. Next, grab your green. There's this kind of strange triangle coming out of the left hand side there, and that is what I'm adding. Now when you put green over red, it kind of gives a brown effect, and that's great because that's exactly what I see in Hundertwasser's original painting. Next, pick that red back up. We are going to add some red spots over on the left hand side. I don't know what these are, but in my imagination I am thinking they are houses. And then add some red striping in on the right hand side. After that, I take blue and I go around the outside of the red squares there on the left hand side. Now with the blue onto the pink, make a couple squares. Then we're going to switch over to orange and make some kind of clover looking thing at the top, and then a couple squares in the pink section. And then a few green squares in the reddish pink section and the pink section. Next, we are going to color the trunks of the trees or the branches there, and we're using brown for that. It is very dark in the picture, but to me it definitely appears more like a brown than a black. I'll take that brown and make some circles inside of the green bush part of the tree, or the top of the tree, the top of the flower, whatever that is there. And they kind of go in a swirl-like pattern like you might see in a lollipop. Go back to yellow and add just a little bit of yellow over top of that green in a few different spots. Like on the first one, the third one, the fourth one, and the sixth one. Then I come back in with a darker green. Again, if you don't have a darker green, just use the green you were using and go back over in the same way that I'm doing, making it look more like a lollipop. And then we take the brown up around, tracing over where the pink turns into the yellow and over the mushroom looking thing on the right there, and then putting some lines in the background and tracing around the little squares of different colors that we added. So there you have it. How do you think that we did compared to the original? Not too bad for markers. Well, and it also took me 40 minutes. I did speed up the video, I want to let you know, so that if you were following along, please feel free to stop it and follow what you need to do. But I hope you had fun creating this and that it was an enjoyable experience to try to create a Hundertwasser-esque type style drawing / painting. and thank you for creating with me.